Hey guys, it's Red, and today we're going to be making a starter base in Terraria, and this is kind of a guide, kind of like guidelines, because they're kind of more vague than tile for tile. So the first thing that you actually need to do is gather some resources. Right now I have quite a bit of gray brick and wood, boreal, and normal wood, and I also have like a couple paintings and stuff, and I also have the basic crafting tables, even though that technically the forge and the other thing is not a basic crafting table. I'm gonna call it a basic crafting table because I'm cool like that. Because you can craft all the things that I'm crafting at just the pre-hard mode equivalent of these. And so the first thing that we're going to do is actually make a little bit of a foundation, and then the whole key to this is to not make the building itself look boring or like a square, kind of like those boring Minecraft buildings that your 5-year-old cousin makes. And so the next thing that we're going to do is kind of build up a few squares, and we're going to remember that we're not going to be using the gray bricks for the whole building. We're just going to be using them for the base layer, and we're going to be using the other type of things, so wood and stuff, for the other layers. And so the next thing that I think that would be cool would be to add a little entrance. I'm just going along here pretty easily. It doesn't really matter where you want the entrances because it's gonna look pretty similar even if the entrances are in different places. And then I feel like expanding this square up and then down, so this would look nice. And then maybe later we could make a window part of this, and then after that we're gonna go up and make another square, and then this thing could be a balcony, but I kind of want it to be an actual part of the house, maybe an extra room for that. So we're just gonna go around, just again, we're making the base layer. This isn't the whole house, it's just the base layer, and then we're gonna hook onto that and add a door right here and here. And then I'm going to actually make this room a little bit longer than the other room, just because it would probably be a little bit safer than sorry. Or it'd be safer than sorry if you want an NPC living here. And then so we're gonna go like that. And then maybe we could add a little bit of a cubby hole right here. And then, so maybe, I don't know. I think that it'd be good if I made it a little bit taller, because I definitely don't want to make it too short to stand in, because that's one of the big faults that I see in Terraria houses, is that there's some parts of the room that are just not useful because you can't really get into them. And so this looks kind of nice. I feel like this could be expanded a little bit upward, and then you could remove these corners right here. And so I feel like this part of this stage of the building of the house is kind of complete. So the next stage is actually going to be adding walls and roofs. Okay, so now we're back, and I'm actually going to be using red brick instead of gray brick for the roofs, because I kind of think it looks a little bit better. So we're kind of just covering the top part of the roof shape we made earlier, and you actually can use gray brick. I just like using red brick because I think it looks prettier, but I understand that clay is kind of hard to get early in the game because it's not a rare block, it's just kind of annoying to gather. So I'm just gonna cover these roofs with the red brick. And then after that, I think that the next thing that we have to do is actually make the walls. And then I'm gonna be filling up our first, like, not our complete first floor, but most of our first floor with the gray bricks. And this is because, like, as you can see, the foundation is still pretty evident, and you don't want to lose that foundation, because without the foundation, it kind of just looks like a boring old house, and that is a super weird graphical glitch. Or it's not a graphical glitch, they just, like, I never knew that. That's a fun fact right there. So then we're going to take our wooden walls and place them all around here. Now, one thing that you actually need to think about during this is the transitions between the different walls and the different parts of the house. So I'm actually going to use this planked wall because this kind of completes the difference between the foundation walls and the wooden walls up off after the foundation walls. And so after this, we're actually gonna not jump cut because that's kind of boring. We're going to take our sand that I collected and make it into glass. And then we're gonna take the glass and craft it all into glass walls. And this is useful because glass walls actually can break up a build a lot. As you can see, some of these parts kind of look a little bit janky, but after a little bit, you will kind of figure out where you want the windows. So in this room, I kind of want a little bit of a thinner window up over here, and then another one, and then another one, and then another one. Now, as you can see, laying out the different foundations of the house kind of really helped us. So now we're gonna be adding some of the different types of things to kind of add a little bit more variation. So we're gonna be adding a platform up here, and then we're gonna be putting a chest. Where's my chest? There it is. We're gonna be adding a chest right there. This is gonna be like our little secret stash chest. And then after that, we're gonna be adding maybe a little bit, maybe a window over here. I'm just like adding places where I adding things where I kind of feel like they could be added, or they could like need adding of things. And like it may be a little bit harder without wings, but you'll get the hang of it pretty quickly. And I'm sorry that it's so dark. I'm not a fan of it, but I actually already used an enchanted sundial to skip the night, so that's why I can't use it for this. And I feel like even though that this kind of looks ugly, we could actually use this as like a little bit of a baseline, or not a baseline, that's something using music, Jesus Christ, like a base to make like more of a window like that. And then I feel like the wood needs to be a little bit higher up. And then after that, I feel like we could add another window up here, like so, and just make that a little bit symmetrical. That was triggering my OCD. Now the next part of this section of the thing, that's a real word right there. Now the next part is actually going to be adding doors and just different parts to make the NPCs actually have a place to live. It's kind of dark, Jesus Christ. So I feel like this is big enough for an NPC house. This is big enough for an NPC house. This is big enough. And then this is big enough. And this part right here is not going to be an NPC house because it is a little bit too big, actually. And I think that it would be better to use it as some places for crafting. As you can see, it's kind of working right now. And then I feel like this could be over here next to the door, and this will actually stop the zombies from getting in. And then next to the furnace we could add this blacksmith rack, And then the loom is kind of one of those things where an NPC would have it, because like sewing is one of those cool things. Like, it's pretty girly, man, but it's kind of cool. And then we're gonna add a painting just to like mix things up a little bit. Get an anvil next to our furnace, or not our furnace, but our other thing. And then maybe we could add a sink somewhere over here. Maybe right here. Maybe this guy really likes cooking, and this guy really likes sewing. And then after that, we're just gonna be adding like a little bit of things. Maybe some of these beams. So we're gonna just be kind of using these beams to, instead of making them like everywhere, you just want to make them where you think that the building could be broken up a little bit, because like this part was a little bit monotonous, and this part could have a beam right here. Although I feel like that beam kind of looks ugly because it isn't like connected to the ceiling, it's connected to this platform. And add a little bit of detail. So you're gonna add some books on just where you think that they need them. So I feel like a lot of the places that you could add books are on tables, and you can also add mugs on tables, because mugs actually look pretty good in this game. Like, you might not think they would kind of fit, but they actually do. And then I have a grandfather clock, so we can place it right there. So I feel like that's kind of it for this episode, or not episode, because this isn't an episode, but it's kind of a tutorial thing. So that's about all for this tutorial thing. So I'll see you guys in the next video. This took me about 20 minutes to make, so it'll probably take you about 25, adding in the extra, like, not the mobility loss. And so, like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you're new here and you want to see more. I don't do all Terraria content, although my main focus is definitely Terraria and other indie games. So, goodbye!